Hello everyone, I'm dragonplatinum, and welcome to my game review. Today we're going to be reviewing Bubblegum Simulator. So first things first, right off the bat, is that this is a clicking simulator. You know, the ones that make you spam click until you can't feel your fingers. However, for this game, it's a little different. Just before we hop in, I want to put a quick disclaimer that this is my experience of the game, so take it with a grain of salt before trying it out yourself. Most clicker games have the tendency to have a slow start. Of course, this isn't all of them, but most I have played do, or they lure the player in with a quick start, and then the progress slows. I'm happy to say that this isn't the case with Bubblegum Simulator. I've got to say that once I found out that you could just pick up coins off the ground, in the starter area the early levels went quick, fast, and took less clicking to blow up the bubble to sell, which, I'll be honest, was awesome because I hate clicking for days. There are also upgrades in the game, which allow you to change the flavor and size of your bubble. Increasing the size allows you to blow it up longer, making it more expensive when you go to sell it, and the flavor changes how big it gets per click and changes the outside look of it, kind of like a cosmetic skin. Now, the one upgrade I haven't touched on just yet are the pets. Pets are stupidly overpowered to the point where I don't even recommend doing the gum upgrades until you have the max amount of equipable pets. They increase the amount of bubble you get per click, just like flavor does, but they also increase the value of those coin pickups that I was talking about. The coin pickups for this game are absolutely essential for the early game. They make things go along a lot faster than just blowing up the bubble and selling it ever could. Again, this is amazing for the early game, and if you're like me, and someone kindly gives you a high level pet in the early game, your cash will shoot up super fast. Shout out to the people who helped me out. You guys know who you are. I appreciate it. It helped me put this review out a little bit quicker than I had intended, so that's awesome. But yeah, if you get those late game pets or mid game pets in the early game, this cuts out the slog of the early game super fast. Collecting coins becomes amazingly overpowered, and it just gets rid of that whole kind of boring clicker aspect. Although it is what the game is based off of, it is much more fun just running around picking the coins up, I've got to say. And I think that it gives you the ability to cut out that early slog. I think that's an amazing option. And although it may seem like a clicker game on the surface, there's a lot more in store, so just you wait. Now for the mid-game. This is usually a very slow section crammed with microtransactions, at least in lots of clicker games, and while Bubblegum Simulator does offer microtransactions for those looking to drop a little bit of Robux on some in-game goodies, it never really feels like you're forced to. I've got to say, it made me happy that the game still felt fun going into the mid-game. I didn't even expect to have fun during the early game, but I did. In the mid-game, you start to unlock more worlds, bigger bubbles, and new pets. One of the first worlds I got access to was a Candyland themed one. It was cool to be in, but I don't recommend it since all the currency to buy pets and hats is in candy, which is slow to get during the mid-game, so it's not recommended that you go right there immediately and start trying to collect your candy to get the hats and pets there immediately. You can sell your bubbles there for more cash, however, so keep that in mind if you're just going to be blowing up bubbles and not running around collecting coins. Now, with the mid-game, you may start to find that as you make your bubble bigger, you can actually jump higher with it. This is because the bubble has a cartoonish gravity effect, where as you get it to be bigger, you'll be able to jump insanely high. This is very important to keep in mind because the late game is going to focus on this aspect heavily. And when I say heavily, I mean heavily. Alright, So let's talk about the late game. Now, this is at least what I believe to be the late game, since I never completely finished the game because I did not have the hours to invest, but I think I got a good enough taste to at least talk about it. So, the late game flips the whole clicker game motif on its head and turns the game instead into a game reminiscent of that phone app Doodle Jump. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but basically you just kind of have your little dude and you're slowly climbing up the screen vertically. But basically the premise of this new kind of game added to it is that you need to ascend vertically until you can't no more. Bubblegum Sim incorporates this aspect beautifully. Now, I'm gonna guess by this point, you should have at least a big enough bubble, and if you look up into the clouds, you'll notice that they are solid. Now you can jump on these clouds and head up into the heavens. And after going up for a while, you'll actually be able to hit new islands, floating islands with places to buy new upgrades, sell your bubblegum, and to get daily rewards just for going up there and showing up. Now again, I never made it to the top, but from what I've seen of every level that I've reached, it has its own unique stuff to offer, its own design, and that's awesome to see. The coolest part about this vertical climbing bit is that there are different climbing bits, I guess, like different climbing worlds to reach per world. It offers like a different stylistic look the higher you get up, which is cool. And this adds a little bit more replayability to the game and makes it not focus so heavily on the boring part of the game, which is the clicking. Or even if you want to say that the collecting part is boring, then it doesn't focus as heavily on the collecting, because as you climb up, you'll land on some drops every so often if you're just climbing up. Like you'll land on coin drops or you'll land on gem drops. So it's really nice as you're going up just to get rewarded for it. So I have covered the early, mid, and late portions of the game, but now I'm going to quickly cover some extra bits that I felt needed a little bit of voicing about them. Just a little bit. First up are the microtransactions. They feel useless if I'm being completely honest. I mean, some of them do add nice little bonuses, I'm not going to deny that, but they're definitely a little bit too pricey for my wallet. So if you're thinking of buying one, I consider waiting until you progress a little bit farther into the game, and then maybe consider buying one again, and then, you know, take your perspective from at least that point in time before you go and buy something. Quickly shout out to the developers. I'm not hating on you wanting to get money out of your game, but I do recommend maybe lowering the prices on stuff, because if you lower the prices, there's a good chance that more people will buy, and the more people that buy, the more money you'll make. So it is a good business model. If you make it less, you could also get more. You never know. Next up's the trading system. I like the trading system, I'll be completely honest. It adds another layer to the game, which I view as like a collecting, trading kind of thing that actually kind of reminds me of Pokemon if I think about it. However, there are no battling options with the pets, but they do level up when you collect ground items, and this increases their like multipliers, so you could get like higher multipliers for collecting coins or gems or stuff like that. And the fact that you can get them as shiny variants is pretty cool. You can convert at least the base ones into shinies, since I did with a couple of mine, with like 10 duplicates, which is nice since you receive quite a few duplicates if you hit the same egg over and over and over again. And I also got a quick look at the hats, which I think, at least from what I played, you can only buy with candy, but they do seem really cool. You can put them on your pets, and this gives them even more multipliers, which is nice, and I think it's a nice touch to it. Adds a little bit more customizability, and hey, they just look pretty cute. And finally, the currency types in the game seem pretty balanced, actually. At least from when I played, coins and gems are quick to get, while candy requires more time. Or you can actually convert your gems into candy, which is totally fine by me, and at least from what I played, this seems really balanced. So props to the developers on that one. Good job. That is a hard thing to balance, but I think you guys did a really good job with it. Alright, so you have heard everything I felt like talking about of my experience of Bubblegum Simulator. I put in about an hour and a bit in, and I got pretty far, I'd say. So I want to say once more, this game is fun. When I went into the game, I wasn't expecting much, and I was pleasantly surprised after I'd played for a bit. The early and mid game is very quick, whereas the late game seems like quite a big grind, which it should be, in my opinion. So, anyways, after all I've said about it, I'm going to have to give the game a very solid 9 out of 10. The only things holding this one back were the few glitches, like people glitching in the floor / insta-dying for unknown reasons. I don't know what that is. That could just be a Roblox thing and totally not their fault, which is fine. I understand that. Happens to the best of developers. I also felt that the microtransactions felt a little too pricey and ultimately a little bit too useless. But other than that, that's all my gripes with the game. So there we are. My first game review, since coming back at least. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and developers, if you watch this, which I doubt you will, please add an Adorite dragon. It's cool. Or Adorite Fedora. I'd like to put that one on my Platinum Dragon, but whatever. Well, anyways guys, that's all I've got for this review, and if you want to try the game out for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description. And if you guys liked this review, feel free to give it a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, because I do plan on doing some more reviews as I get more time to do them. If you have a game in mind that you would like me to review, feel free to give it, comment it down below, and I'll give it a quick look. But other than that, guys, it's Dragon Platinum, signing out. Peace out, guys. Bye.